in Menlo Park, California, accidentally discovered that the Watchtower is using various bank accounts from surrounding congregations to launder out of jail. I love laundering out of jail. They happen to be reported. If you can obtain information about the property held by the Watchtower and any financials in general, as well as names and any information that could help our case, please obtain the info and do a data dump. Data dump. We are specifically looking for information regarding the Menlo Park scandal. You can Google it and get the proverbial phone book of information on this case. Any help would be greatly appreciated. Apparently, the Watchtower is involved in more than just covering up the activities of known pedophiles. Bear with me, friends. Watchtower operate primarily out of California because Don Adams is related to people in the San Carlos congregation. I presume that is Don Adams, president of the Watchtower Society. He has a niece or cousin who attends there. The surveillance expert they use to spy on Jehovah's Witnesses is named Bruce Radadich. He owns a surveillance company and he is used to tap phones and spy on JWs who seem to be troublemakers. He resides in Sunnyvale, California. He is an ex-cop who went private and started his own surveillance company. The RBC, which is the Regional Building Committee, is the Western Union of the Watchtower. They handle all of the monetary issues. They work autonomously but answer to the service desk. Their system is wireless based and has all the information needed to get into the Watchtower's main system. The RBC system is separate, so that it prevents it from being connected to the Watchtower, meaning if you get into the Watchtower system, you won't get into the RBC because it's separate. However, if you get into the RBC system, it will get you into the Watchtower as it is backwards compatible, so to speak. I will have the name and address of the person who runs the West Coast operations for the RBC in 1 hour, along with his address. I know what to look for. You shall have it in 1 hour. Cheese pizza! Delivered in 1 hour, it's free! Usually when they launder, it's large chunks of money. We found a deposit of $200,000 made into Wells Fargo Bank. I saw a mill on one of their hedge funds. That was then transferred into the account of the Japanese congregation days later. Then it just vanished. Yeah, the hedge funds are into the millions. But when they launder on a congregation level, it's usually in excess of $150,000. The money goes into the accounts held for a bit and then vanishes. Who do you think takes it? Which is why we subpoenaed the bank records, only to find out a ton of Jehovah's Witnesses work inside Wells Fargo Bank, and they work their asses off to prevent us from getting the info under subpoena. It is my understanding it goes back to the Watchtower. See, it works like this. They send the money to a congregation in some location, then say it's a gift, so they don't have to report it as taxable. Then, after the audit, they require the congregation to transfer the money back to the Watchtower. From there, it goes into hedge funds and other places. I have been on the money trail for 10 months. But to pull this off, they have to have congregations in various locations. That way, they can spread it all out. Oh my God, it all makes sense now. And if all congregations are required to only bank in certain banking institutions, it appears to be nothing more than an interbank transfer. And those do not alert the FDIC or any governmental agencies. I like that! It's like bacon bits. As long as they all bank at the same bank, for say example Chase Bank. you never know they are laundering. And if someone gets wise to it, they have Jehovah's Witnesses who work in the bank, who can help to cover up the tracks or deny a subpoena. Judge James made a court order for all the bank records from Chase Bank and Wells Fargo Bank once we showed her the $200,000 deposit that mysteriously vanished. She signed the order, and 3 weeks later, the case was forced closed. Apparently, certain clerks signed an order that appeared to be from Judge James dismissing the case, but they were forged and did not come from Judge James. But they were willing to take that risk to prevent us from getting the bank records. Certain accounts are used for certain things within the Watchtower. Rumor has it they have their own witness relocation program. Meaning if someone is accused of being a pedophile and the evidence against them looks credible, they will allocate money to that individual and get him out of town. That's a great getaway. Can I sign up for that? I believe they use Chase Bank for the laundering of big funds and Wells Fargo Bank for the incidental shit that comes up, like getting someone out of town. Before we leave town, can I have the ham salad sandwich, please? It'll just take a minute if you stop there. Then, when you ask about that person, you are told that they are on special assignment for the ministry. And you never see them again. I like how that works. A letter is sent out to the local congregation, and they move into, and the letter states that this brother was accused of blah blah blah, but they are innocent, and please protect them and assure their privacy. One of the main guys that they did this with was Paul Kohler. He was a circuit overseer, and when it was apparent he would have to testify, he vanished. Whew, he's gone. When the judge asked where he was, the Watchtower lawyer, Anthony Smith, claimed he was on special assignment in Chicago and could not be reached. Like I said, our case was forcibly dismissed to prevent us from getting things under order we filed for. The clerk who aided them in this dismissing the case also vanished from the San Francisco courthouse. Her name was Brenda Tolbert. We were never sure if she was a Jehovah's Witness or someone who just took a payoff to sabotage the case. Ironically, the San Francisco court is aware of all this, and they have a real dilemma because they don't want the new case to go forward because it will expose the clerks. But they can't find a reason to dismiss it that will look legitimate. So they have decided to continue the case for as long as they can. We won't have a first court date for months now. I guess to buy the Watchtower time to figure out what to do. I need time to figure out what to do. Just a few minutes will work. Not to mention, they have threatened several reporters to prevent them from writing any stories about this in the newspaper. The Watchtower only fears one thing, we found out. Well, two things. The media and the IRS. During the depositions we gave, they demanded to know exactly who we talked to about the money laundering, and even went so far as to ask for a physical description of the agents we spoke to. Jesus. They have much covered. If, say, something comes up involving the FBI, they have a witness to handle that. His name is Don Maynor. His father was an FBI agent who actually worked in the FBI's cult division, and it was his job to spy on and infiltrate the Watchtower to find out more about their goings-on. Maynor followed in his dad's footsteps, but in the opposite way. He handles any legal issues that may arise involving local law enforcement or with the feds. Like I said, we learned a lot in our lawsuit, and the Watchtower forced the guys to sign a confidentiality order. Ironically, I was out of the country when the order was signed, so I'm not bound by the order in any way. Croutons with ranch dressing! Now! The RBC, or Regional Building Committee, is nothing more than the Western Union for the Watchtower. It's how they launder their funds. I am working on getting names and such. They operate autonomously, but at the direction of the super-secretive service desk. They launder their money through so-called Kingdom Hall remodeling projects. As such, they have records that will get you into the Watchtower computer systems, as they keep that information in the RBC computers. As I understand, the RBC is based in California, and that is the location they use the most. I hope to have the breakdown for you later. But you going in through the RBC is the back door to the Watchtower computer system. Enclosed is a document for how they audit certain Kingdom Halls for remodeling work. And you pretty much have to figure any Kingdom Hall being remodeled, it's a front for money laundering. You know the old joke in the military. Why a hammer cost $500? Why does a cheese pizza still cost $5? That's what I want to know. The labor on all Kingdom Hall work is volunteer, so they are not paid, yet great sums of money exchange hands. I will send more as I can. Ah! Watchtower is fucked. Bear with me, friends. Watchtower operate primarily out of California because Don Adams is related to people in the San Carlos congregation. A little part of California accidentally discovered that the Watchtower is using various bank accounts from surrounding congregations to launder out of jail. I love laundering out of jail. They happen to be reported and do a data dump. Data dump. We are specifically looking for information regarding the Menlo Park scandal. You can Google it and get the proverbial phone book of information on this case. Any help would be greatly appreciated. Apparently, the Watchtower is involved in more than just covering up the activities of known pedophiles. If you can obtain information about the property held by the Watchtower and any financials in general, as well as names and any information that could help our case, please obtain the info